Hello and welcome to this training session on Apollo, our mystery shopping platform. And in this training session you will be introduced to how our systems work, the basic workflow, some rudimentary Apollo navigation, and of course the status overview. This training session is packed with quite an amount of new information, therefore you might find it useful to return to it from time to time. Let's begin. This is the login screen of Apollo. After your onboarding process is completed, you will be provided with your Apollo credentials, that is the login name and the associated password. The link itself to this page along with your login details will be sent to your inbox. After filling in the blanks, you just hit go and you're in. This is the home screen of Apollo. Apollo is split into three separate platforms: the mint green one for clients and project managers, where you can create new questionnaires and modify service settings; the lavender one for basically working with the collected data that is in the system; and the yellow one for resource managers, where they can search for evaluators and schedule shops. In editing, you will be using the platform in the middle. Before you do anything, it is advisable to filter for the first few letters of the project you are looking for. Then you hit the arrow button to limit your matches. Now it should be very easy to find the exact survey, and you just select it from the drop-down menu on the top. In order to enter the platform, you select View Admin Shop Log in the middle section and click Go. Now you have entered the main navigation screen. To see any report, first click Go again. Now you are given a vast array of reports and you will need to specify what you are exactly looking for. One page on the screen lists up to 50 reports, and if you did not enter any criteria, you would have to pick a page from the drop-down menu. In order to cut down on matches, let's specify our scope for today's work session. Now let's see our filters with which we are able to navigate around the reports in Apollo. The first column is the report ID. These are unique to each and every report, and you can refer to these whenever you are looking for specific visits for your project. In case you have any questions or issues concerning any specific shop, you can turn to your colleagues and refer to the shop ID to help them find which one you are talking about. In the second column, you can sort the reports according to various types of date ranges. The due date is until which the evaluator has to complete the report. The shop date shows the day when the mystery visit was carried out, while the reporting date is the deadline for the project manager to deliver the reports to the client. The middle column holds geographical information and allows you to search for specific regions. The names of the evaluators are displayed in the next column. The last but one column is for statuses, and any action on these reports can be managed with the controls on the right-hand side. Let's begin our search with specifying the status from which we will be working from. As an editor, you will be most likely to pick up the reports from completed. In the status column, select the input status from the drop-down menu and hit go. Now notice that the matches have been restricted to completed. The next step is to specify the date up to which you are interested in the reports. It's best to select all in order not to miss anything. As an editor, you will be most probably working on specific languages assigned to you, so it is worth picking a country from the location list. Under the state filter, you will find countries as well as cities and smaller geographic units. The level and group filters are among the most handy ones. They can be arbitrarily defined according to whatever criteria the project manager sees fit. Use this one to filter for larger regions, scenarios, or you can try to negotiate with the project manager if you need any locations grouped together. It is not uncommon to find a simplified list of countries here as well. The wave filter allows you to search for reports in a given quarter or season. Now let's try the country filter under level group and select Germany. Don't forget to hit go. Now we can see that there are actually only 13 reports from Germany. It's beginning to take shape. The final touch in filtering is to tap this triangular arrow next to the shop date in order to sort the reports from oldest to newest. This is vital if we want to keep the turnaround time low, and this allows us to proceed with the reports in chronological order. Now let's see what actions we have here. By clicking on Events, You can access the event log and check what has happened to this report so far. The event log tells you who created the survey and when, who assigned the visit, and when the evaluator completed the report. Sometimes it is useful to have a look if you are not sure why a specific report is on a given status. Clicking on View opens up a new window in your browser with the end result that is delivered to the client. Those reports are slightly different in their layout and style and cannot be edited. You may have a look if you need to know what questions are hidden from the client. Contrary to its name, the Edit button takes you to a tiny portion of the service settings, where the project manager can manipulate date ranges and shop fees. As an editor, you will hardly ever need this. Your subject of interest will be the Review button. Click this to open up any report. Let's have a closer look into one. Each questionnaire consists of 3 main sections. This topmost one is the header. It contains administrative details about the visit. It shows the location address, a yellow sticky note, which has additional information for the evaluator, the country, the language, as well as the type of the store. It also shows the scenario, the evaluator's first and last name, which is useful if you need to address them, and the report ID. Also, the project guidelines are accessible through this link from any report. The scoring summary shows what results the staff members managed to achieve this time based on the evaluator's answers. In between the header and the main body of the questionnaire, you can find the project manager comment box. This serves as a message board for internal colleagues in case they need to cooperate in the same report. Whenever you need to notify the project manager or any other colleague to flag an issue, you can do it here. Just remember to leave your initials, the actual date of the entry, and the output status you are putting the report on. Most of the time it is called A, since issues are mainly flagged for the project manager. Soon the project manager replies and he puts the report back on completed for editors to work with. It is vital to follow up on this, and we also begin editing each report with having a look at the project manager comment box to see if there are any entries. This is the second part of the report, the questionnaire body itself. As you can see, there are multiple choice questions, yes/no questions, as well as narrative boxes. As an editor, one of your key responsibilities is to make sure that no contradictions remain between the comments and the checkboxes. You will also see some grey questions in the questionnaire. These questions are hidden from the evaluator because based on previous answers given in the questionnaire, these subsequent ones are rendered no longer applicable. There's a so-called rules set with which the project manager can set the criteria for certain questions to show up or remain hidden based on previous questions. As an editor, you can skip the grey fields as they are neither visible to the evaluator nor the client. Every report will feature at least one picture or scanned document which serve as the proof of visit. Evaluators have to upload these into the upload slots in the questionnaire. Click on one to open the POV and have a closer look. In most cases, there are strict guidelines on what should be visible on the photograph or what kind of document we need obtained from the store. If it is a scanned document, you can cross-check the address on it with the one in the header of the report. This is crucial to confirm the validity of the proof of visit. At the end of the questionnaire, you will find the evaluator grading grid. As an editor, you are to rate the performance of the evaluator for each and every visit, and this grid helps you remain objective when grading them. Based on what you mark on the right-hand side, the system automatically calculates the grade that should be given to this report. This is not a rule carved in stone. It serves more like a guide on what mark you should give, but you may overrule this if necessary. The grid observes crucial points such as how closely the evaluator had followed the given scenario, the completeness of the information, the use of language concerning the grammar and punctuation, as well as submitting the report on time. The average grade then can be seen at the bottom of the chart. The result contains decimal fractions, while the final grade you will have to give does not. It's up to you to round this figure up or down based on what you had seen in the report. In this case, this report is likely to receive a 9, which is a very good grade. Below the grading grid, there is a field for entering currency. This is the place for reimbursement in case the evaluator has a purchase scenario where they have to buy a small item as part of their role as a mystery shopper. Please note that the reimbursement is always given in the local currency of the country in which the evaluation takes place. Based on what you have verified on the shop receipt uploaded as the proof of visit in the report, you will have to fill in the shopper reimbursement as well as the bill to client reimbursement field. The bottom of the report has the reviewer controls. This is the control panel where you will assign a new status to each report you are working with. Also, this is the place for any communication with the evaluator. The first step when finishing a report is to set the output status. Ideally, this should be either reviewed or finalized, but occasionally you may find yourself putting the report on hold day or incomplete if there are any issues. The second step is to give the report a grade. This is the value you have just generated using the grading chart. The third step is leaving feedback. You can either select an appropriate message from a list of presets or write your own message. If you choose to create your own comments, make sure they are professional and polite at all times. Whenever you grade the report 7 or lower, you must explain the reason to the evaluator. Apollo does not automatically send this message to the evaluator, but depending on the situation, you will have to choose either to send both the grade and the message, or, especially when dealing with incomplete reports, send only the message and hide the grade for the time being. You may have already noticed that there is a show button as well in the upper right corner. This is the mobile comment box. Click this to open it, and you can use it in the same way as the shopper comment box in the reviewer controls. The contents will be updated real time, so there is no need to copy messages from one box to the other. The main difference and key feature of the mobile comment box is that it is always visible on top as you follow along the report, and it is always at hand when you want to note down what the evaluator will have to do to correct the report. Bullet points can also be easily listed here as you go. This brings us to the end of the report. You click on the Update Survey button at the bottom and your changes are saved. If, for any reason, you do not want the changes to be saved, you can just click the X button in the upper right corner to close the report. This is the Update Report screen, showing you which report you have just updated. From here, you can either click back to return to the report and keep working in it, or you can simply close it and proceed with the next report in the list. These are the statuses that are used in Apollo. The life cycle of reports start on created and follow their way down the line. There are no other statuses and no additional statuses can be created either, so everything that happens in Apollo happens in one of the following statuses. The general workflow in Apollo manifests in moving the reports from an earlier status towards completion. Editors work with statuses between the dashed lines, while the gray ones are used either by project managers, resource managers, or the client. Let's see these in succession. Created reports have been prepared by the project manager and parked until the shops are open for the public to apply for. When the fieldwork is launched, these shops are moved to open. Open shops have been posted on the job board, and evaluators may apply for the visits they are interested in. New shops have been already assigned to evaluators who are just about to familiarize themselves with the guidelines, and the visit has been scheduled. While the evaluator is filling in the report with the data about the visit, the shop is incomplete. The evaluator may save the report multiple times depending on how long it takes to fill in the questionnaire, and as long as the report is on the status of incomplete, they can readily access and modify it. Once everything is filled in and the evaluator feels that there's nothing else to be done, they submit the report on to completed. From this point on, evaluators are no longer granted access to the report, and the internal review stage begins. Freelance as well as in-house editors take up the reports from completed, do the necessary quality check, and pass it on to reviewed. From reviewed, senior editors double-check the reports to ensure that no inconsistencies are found, and each report is as perfect as it can be. Then they forward them to finalized. Finalized is already a status where the client can readily access the report. This is the primary delivery status. The more reports are on finalized in the end, the happier everybody is. Client finalized is an additional status on the client side. The function is basically the same as the finalized status, but it can be useful when the client wants to separate their delivered reports by some criteria. Emailed is a status for reports on the client side that have been emailed to a responsible party, for example a region, branch or store manager for reference. Collaboration shop and whether it is used varies from project to project and needs to be checked with the project manager. Sometimes shop with missing receipts are parked here until the invoice arrives, or if high priority shops need extra attention due to a strict deadline. Use this as discussed with the project manager. A shop on hold A had been visited, the report was completed and partly reviewed by an editor, but there has been an issue with it. For example, the receipt might not be clear, or if there is a possible scenario breach or a query for the client to decide on. If there is an issue or query for the project manager, the editor finishes editing the report as much as possible and puts the report on hold A, from where the project manager picks it up and starts troubleshooting. The details of the issue are listed in the project manager comment box inside the report. When moving a report on hold A, it is useful to mention if it had been fully reviewed or not, because if the rest of the questionnaire had been reviewed, then as soon as the issue is solved, the project manager can finalize the report straight away. Hold B is for reports which have been done and reviewed and are ready to go to the client. Project managers usually make their final checks, if necessary, from hold B. It is also possible that the client should only see the reports in batches, which are then parked on hold B until they are cleared for delivery. Use this status when you have fully reviewed the report and it passes the second line editing as well, but there are additional steps remaining for the project manager to do. The excluded status assembles reports that had been done by the evaluator but for some reason unsuitable for delivery. This can be a scenario breach at the time of the missed visit, or a location issue due to miscommunicated addresses, or any other unexpected situation that renders the visit invalid. Reports on excluded end up there after an editor moves them on hold A with the issue, and if the nature of the issue is such that it cannot be resolved or negotiated with the client, the project manager excludes it from delivery. Excluded reports have to be reassigned and reshopped later during the fieldwork. Finalized reports are often put on locked when changes in the scoring have to be made, but the already finalized reports should not be affected by the new scoring rules. This status protects its contents from being subjected to any change made in the service settings. That would be all concerning this basic Apollo training. Thank you for your patience and welcome aboard.